Hey guys, how's it going? It's Mark. I guess I just wanted to make a quick video, kind of showing the recipe I've got for a smoothie that I like to make. So it's a green smoothie. It has fruits and leafy greens and beets and a lot of other Anyway, I guess I'll just kind of show you what I put in here. So I start off with about 2.5 cups of water. So let me go ahead and fill that up. So, okay, so now I've got about 2.5 cups of water inside the blender. And then I'm going to add to that just a little bit of this unsweetened almond milk. Sometimes I use either almond milk or coconut, sometimes a little bit of both. But I just put a tiny little bit in, just, maybe a quarter of a cup or so. So that goes in. Next thing that I'm going to put in is I've actually got frozen ginger. And I've also got frozen turmeric. So generally I've found that using, so this is a Vitamix 5200 that I'm using. I've found basically everything you have to put into the blender really has to be frozen, or else you're going to end up with a kind of warm, gross smoothie. So anyway, I've got frozen turmeric. And also the nice thing about freezing basically everything is that it keeps longer. You don't have to worry about stuff going bad in the fridge. So I've got frozen turmeric. I'm going to take two sections like that, kind of two, finger length sections. Put those guys in. And then I'll go ahead and I've got about the same amount of ginger. The ginger is also frozen, so I'll go ahead and throw that ginger in. And go put these back in the freezer. Okay, get out a few more greens. And also, should have gotten this stuff out before I hit record, but that's fine. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some rainbow peppercorn. So I guess I've read about turmeric that you're supposed to have some kind of black pepper whenever you take turmeric, you're also supposed to take black pepper because that increases, I guess, the absorption of the turmeric into your system. So I'll go ahead and just put in a few twists of black pepper. So there we go. So there's black pepper. Next up, what I've got is a mixture of shelled hemp seeds and chia seeds. So I'm going to put in, about a quarter of a cup is maybe a little less than a quarter of a cup. That's how much I put in. So about that much. So that's that. Next up, what I like to put in is protein powder. So I'm actually just kind of using, I had been using this Vega Sport stuff because it was all plant-based. I've actually switched kind of off of this. I'm back on the gold standard Optimum Whey protein. And I find that just tastes kind of a little bit better. Also keeps you fuller longer. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put 1 scoop of that in. I believe that's 25 grams of protein that's in 1 scoop. It's either 12 or 25. I can't remember. Okay, so after that, I'm going to start in with some leafy greens. So again, basically everything's frozen. So here's a bag of spinach that you get from Trader Joe's. So I get, I buy fresh bags of spinach and then just go and kind of throw them into the freezer to freeze them. So I'll go ahead and put in a good bit of spinach, not that much. Next thing I'm going to put in is also from Trader Joe's. I'm going to put in, this is, you buy fresh kale that's already cleaned and cut up in bags, and I just throw it into the freezer. So this is some frozen kale. Go ahead and throw that in. Okay. So then the next thing I'm going to throw in is I always kind of have this other green mixture. So I've actually got in here cucumbers, beet greens, 2 different types of kale, 2 different types of chard. There's rainbow chard and red chard. There's also, I believe, arugula in here. And kind of what I do with this is actually, you know, if we ever have a salad for dinner or greens or something like that, we like fresh greens, typically what we'll do is we'll always buy kind of like a little bit too much or a little bit in excess of that, of whatever we want for a salad or whatever we're doing green-wise. And then whatever we don't eat, we'll just freeze and it gets put into the smoothie. So it's kind of a nice way of keeping stuff from going bad in the fridge. So anyway, I'll go ahead and put some of that stuff in. There's also red cabbage in here. So there's my greens mixture. Go ahead and close that up. So the next thing that I put in, and I actually forgot, typically I put this at the bottom of the blender, but no harm done putting it in at the top, is basically about 1/4 of a beet. So I get beets, I freeze them, and then, or I clean them, slice them up, and then just freeze them. I like to buy beets with the greens on top because I'll also cut up and clean the beet greens on top, and that goes into that green mixture that I just put in. So go ahead and put that beet in. Now, so now basically everything that's in there right now is all of the vegetables that are going in. So I believe that was all vegetables that we put in. And now what we have to do is just kind of put in the fruit. So typically I put the fruit on top. I doubt that there's any real great, reasoning behind, putting these in a specific order. I found that this order works well for me. It kind of pulls everything down into the blades. So anyway, I just basically took some oranges and cut them up, made sure to keep most of the pith on the outside of the orange, and just kind of cut them up and froze them. So I'm going ahead, put in about, so these oranges have been cut into eighths, so I'll put about 3/8 of an orange in. Also in this mixture, and you can see it's kind of frozen together, is kiwi. So pretty much all of the kiwi, skin, seeds, everything, I just kind of rinse the outsides of them and cut them into quarters. So I'll put in typically about 2/4 of a kiwi. So there's 2/4 of kiwi. So there's that. Next up, I get pomegranate seeds from Target. So these are about $3.50 for a bag. So I'll put in, kind of like a small handful of pomegranate seeds. That's actually kind of more than I typically put in, but that's fine. So then I've got pomegranate seeds, and then I've got this triple berry blend that's blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. Also get this from Target. But I typically, you can kind of find these anywhere, I guess. So if I find these on sale, anything less than $3 a pound, I'll typically buy them and put them in the deep freeze. But yeah, this is kind of what I typically use as the Target one. All right, and then just kind of put some of that in. And actually, we can use the rest of this. So that's probably about a cup of berries that went in. And then that is pretty much it. That's everything that we needed for the smoothie. So now we're just going to go ahead and blend this up. So I'll go ahead and put this on the blender. I've found that I've kind of needed to really work this around with the tamper. So I'll go ahead and get that started right now. so that's mostly blended up right now. I actually like to go ahead and kind of scrape the sides of the blender after everything is kind of most of the way blended up. So kind of scrape it, see if I can get any of the other kind of particles that are sort of along the sides. And then I'll blend it for, you know, probably another minute or so. Okay, and that's pretty much done. You know, one of the other things I kind of, you know, do is I'll occasionally feel the side of the container and just sort of make sure it's still cold, because if you leave it in there too much, it will actually heat it up and you'll get kind of a warm, gross smoothie. But anyway, that is basically it. So this is kind of a mostly green smoothie, but you can see it still has the color of, I guess, a fruit smoothie. I think that's mostly from the beet. That's one of the, you know, a good part of the reason I'll actually put the beet in there is so that you still get kind of a nice red color out of it rather than sort of a grayish color out of most green veggie smoothies. But anyway, that's about it. So that's, you know, I guess breakfast for about 2 people. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I guess I'll talk to you guys later. See ya. Bye. Okay.